Hello and welcome to this week's week 26. God, I can't believe we've been doing it this long. Of SATAL pitting RVE versus inSKY. I'm joined, as always, by the mustache man himself, Billy Wah. How are you doing this morning, Billy?
I'm not doing too bad. I am up bright and early, ready to go for some action. Hopefully, we can see some fireworks this morning. I know I'm ready.
You know, I'm really looking forward to that. It's a big matchup, I think, for both teams. Especially RVE. RVE is currently undefeated. They still have, if you include this one, 2 matches left. The final match, regardless of how this one goes, who's that one against? Do you remember? Can you look that up for me real quick?
Finishes the year up against Reservoir. Or, I'm sorry, RVE finishes. I believe this is RVE's. Nope, they have. Sorry, we were just doing this. They have their last game against SF, the last one of the year. So that should be a pretty pivotal matchup.
Yeah, they've got 2 really important matchups coming in here. If they win this one, I think it really solidifies that they get at least second place, depending on how their match goes against SF. I know SF has a tie, so even if they tie SF in the last remaining matchup, it should be good to go for them. So audio is low, guys. Bill, are you turned up all the way?
Sure, I can try to turn it up a little bit more.
No, not you, but Bill Damaris. Is you, can you try and turn the volume up a bit? Let me know if that fixes it for you. If it's still low, I'm more than happy to turn the volumes up, but it sounds decent for me if you turn the volume all the way to the right. Let's see if that helps. You may have to turn the volume up, but it sounded okay for me. So just let me know what you think.
I think today, the true team to look at is inSKY, because Win thrust them ahead of Reservoir's Elite. However, a loss puts them in a position to be passed by 36 Stormo. So I really think they are in the most do or die position, because if they can pull this win out, they pretty much, I believe, well, they'll secure second place, barring Reservoir Elite not winning that last one. So I think they solidify a 2 or a 3 spot with a win today, but however, a loss makes them susceptible to being bounced right out of the equation. So,
right.
Or I should say lowered into the final spot.
Well, he still says way low. So let's see if I can fix that real quick. So we will turn this stuff up a little bit. I don't think I'm very low. How am I low? I shouldn't be.
Me.
Now, was it just Billy that was low, or just me? Or both of us? You guys gotta... It sounded pretty decent in our sound check, so you guys gotta let us know. But while you guys are sorting that out...
You're sounding good coming through. I just checked the Twitch on my end. You're sounding good coming through my browser right now.
Well, let's jump in here. Let me get this stuff started. And so something that we need to stay here is that the RVE guys only have 5 pilots. So we'll have to see what happens. Who are they flying with? They've got Snowman, Daxter, J-Man, Seal, and Microvax. And a variety of different airframes? No, they are almost entirely F-15s. So they may be trying to rock with those AIM-7 MHs. We know the last update that we had on Wednesday to Open Beta, we are flying on Open Beta, had some new toys for us. Had the AIM-9X, the AIM-7M, got a little bit of some love, got a little bit of an update. And then they also introduced the AIM-7MH, which was a modification done, as far as I understand, to the M variant of the missile. So the difference being in DCS that the MH can loft. So it has increased range, and with the F-15s in any plane only being able to take 4 actives, we'll have to see how that all shakes out. If the AIM-7 in today's matchup is going to play any type of role in swinging the tide one way or the other. inSKY also looks to be taking primarily F-15s. They've got a single J-11, so RVE has 4 F-15s and a single Mirage. Microvax in his meme ship Mirage. While inSKY has 5 F-15s and a singleton J-11. The J-11 just disconnected or is reslotting. We'll have to see if he chooses to do something else. What do you think today, Billy? What do you think's gonna go down? I'm RVE throughout a lot of this. Every match that I've seen them do always puts on a great show. They've gotten some close ones in the past, but they've always been able to, if it is ever close, to eke it out come the end of it. So what do you think's going to happen today?
Well, I have to think if inSKY is looking at the standings, which you have to assume they are, that, you know, they've got to be feeling the pressure here to at least pull this off and not put themselves in a position to come in the 4th seed. So I think you're going to see some aggressive maneuvering out of them to, if they get down in this thing, to try to get back in it to pull that win out. Because like I said, I think it's more important for inSKY to get the victory today than it is, say, for RVE, just based upon the standings. I think we all know these guys want to win every time they come out there, but certainly the pressure is more on inSKY today, I think.
Well, I think the RVE has a significant amount of pressure on them because if you guys don't know already, anybody new to SATAL, this is your first time watching, your standing in the bracket has a significant meaning in the in-game tournament. So the in-game tournament's going to start, I think it's October 6th with the first matches, but the higher you rank, the more buys you get. So 3rd and 4th, so 4th from one bracket's going to play 3rd from the other. The winner of that match is going to play 2nd place from one of the other brackets, and then the winner of that match is going to play 1st. So 2nd goes immediately to the quarterfinals, and then 1st goes immediately to the semis. So your standings plays a pivotal, very important role in how this all shakes out. So regardless of if they've already made it into the tournament or not, just getting that extra bye, at least to me, is significant and can be a game changer as you get into the late game when the tournament starts up.
So as I'm reading that there, this is more important for RVE not to lose that 2nd place spot because it is so much more valuable than, say, inSKY getting shuffled down into that 4th. So that does make sense. You can see how
Absolutely.
RVE is definitely going to be you know, avoiding losing that spot. That's quite valuable, as you just described.
And since we loaded into the camera here, guys, you can see, oh no, all of the inSKY boys disconnected. Not entirely sure what happened there. RVE's still here. They all disconnected at the same time. Not entirely sure what happened. One of them's still here. Didn't see any notification that they were being kicked. But since the camera came in, guys, you'll notice that it is stormy weather. The weather today is going to play a part in how this match shakes out. Clouds, I think, are pretty low. 1,000 meters, maybe higher. I think they're about 1,000. So we'll have to see if that causes any issues going forward. We're in a mountainous area. It's Sochi versus Kataisi. So there is a possibility that we could see some lawn darting.
Yeah, I think we all know how quickly those mountain ranges come out when you're coming through that cloud layer. It's never as far away as you want it to be. It always seems to be much closer.
Have to see what's going on with inSKY. It was weird that they all disconnected at the same time. Are their pings okay?
I'm not sure. If you
pings
check the messages,
show
I had a
0.
question about getting into the server, by the way.
You're not allowed.
Beautiful.
Just getting some stuff ironed out on why everybody DC'd there. Not really sure what happened. inSKY is located in China, so I don't know if there was a routing issue coming back to the States. The server's based in Kansas City here in the United States, but I don't really know why they all DC'd at the same time. But chat, what do you think? Woblin, turn the volume up. Go higher. Turn the volume on the actual Discord up. Or not on the Discord, on Twitch. I don't know why it would be low.
Yeah, I keep checking the Twitch stream volume on my end, and it sounds good to me.
Energy says low American Chinese connection tariffs. Man, I wish that was the case, but everything seems to be going up. Graph, we should be starting here soon. We had a mass disconnect come from inSKY, so we're waiting for them to reconnect. Their pings aren't too bad. They're 200s. So not horrific. They've still got the 1 J11, 3 F-15s to come back in. There's 4 inSKY guys in right now. Again, we mentioned earlier that it's only the 5 RVE guys. Sorry to cut you off there. Go ahead.
Well, no, and that's a perfect segue because that was exactly what my question was going to be. How do you feel the man advantage is going to affect the tactics that RVE like? Do you think this is obviously going to change the formation and the approach that they probably were going to take had they had that extra fighter?
I don't know. I think we've seen RVE be, I want to say they were outnumbered last match. Maybe I'm mistaken. But they've always been able to come in from... They've always been able to come from behind. So we'll just have to see.
And that is a factor that should not be overlooked. You know, that clutch gene or that ability to have the resolve to come back when down is certainly something not every team possesses, and is valuable when one does.
Right. Just waiting on these guys to connect. But chat, let's get... I want your guys' insight. There's the... survey down below that you can vote on who you think's going to win. But also, I want to know what you guys think of the match. We can talk about blue flag. What do you guys think? How they can only carry 6. They can actually only carry 4 in this particular match. So actives are limited to 4, and the C is banned. It's Bs only. And Graph, nobody gets the AIM-9X right now. That is entirely banned. But as for ED and how everything's going to shake out with the updates, I don't know if they're going to give the AIM-9X to the F-15. I don't think the block that we have of the F-15 was ever able to carry the AIM-9X.
I think there was talk about upgrading it to be able to, but I don't know if that ever went through or not.
What do you mean?
Like, I thought there was talk at one point about upgrading the C airframe to be able to handle...
Well, it can in real life. It can carry the X in real life, but as far as what we have in DCS, I don't know. But Sign asks, how is weather decided? Weather is decided based on a dice roll. So I roll the dice, and weather and mission location is decided based on what the dice tell me to do. So we're still waiting. Here it becomes too long. I guess we're going to have to make inSKY fly. I'm not really sure what the holdup is. There's still only 4 pilots in the server. I'm very blue today. Got my blue shirt, my blue cup.
I almost wore blue myself this morning, so we would have had to have made some sort of wardrobe change there. Would have looked a little too similar.
So we'll give them 5 minutes, and then we'll if they don't have enough pilots, we're just going to have to go. They all disconnected at the same time, so I don't know if they're having internet issues or what, but we've got to get this show on the road.
No word from anyone from our inSKY?
I was talking to somebody on inSKY. He was asking me what the problem was, and I don't know. Maybe they're just having connection issues. That's what I do. I cheat. That's how we roll. He says, nice, I like that it's random, provided multiplayer isn't cheating. So, yeah. 51st matchup was clear skies, but our first matchup, if I remember right, was overcast, so it's not like we get it's always clear skies for us. It depends on what's going down. We'll just have to see.
Did you see me connect before? Because I just had to try to reconnect.
I don't know. I haven't seen you connect yet.
Yeah.
J-Man says, rain is good for the memes. J-Man, are you flying? No. Yes. Yes, you are. I lied. Graf says, actually, clear skies is bad for ETs, yeah. The clouds definitely make it easier for the ET meme missile.
I'm not connecting. Are we having... Maybe the server needs to be restarted? Yes. I'm not sure what's up.
Sorry, guys.
Alrighty, well, we'll see how the rain factors in today. I think you know the weather is usually a hot topic beforehand, but
I'm gonna restart the server, and we'll just. Half-assed, why don't I stream anymore? I don't really stream because this takes a ton of time to do. So a lot of it is because of this particular stream for SATAL. It's just, there's a lot of time coming into it. There's a lot of effort that goes into these streams, and it takes a lot of time to get everything set up. I do stream every once in a while, but it's honestly streaming in that way, a perspective of just what I'm streaming, it isn't as fun as doing these streams, so that's why I do these mainly. We'll have more events probably next year. We've got Persian Incident hopefully coming at some point. We've got some other things that I'm going to introduce into the lineup for SATAL. But I just enjoy doing these more. Restarting the server. Server's back up. So we'll get TAC view back up. TAC view's back up. Let's get it right there. Zoom in for TAC view. And let's rejoin. Okay. Let's give this one more try. And if this doesn't work, we're going to have to move on.
yeah, I just have a really tiny head. VR. I think that's the problem.
Energy. I like big headphones, and I cannot lie. I actually have a really big head. It's like 7 3/4 or something. So my
It's all
headphones just
optical
must be
illusions.
gigantic. So we restarted the server. Hopefully they can get this under control. We can't let this go on too much longer because they've got to be prompt and ready to fly. So let's see. Looks like they're joining immediately. Not sure if there was an issue with the server or what. Juan asks, are you going to fly with the F-18? The F-18's allowed. People just choose not to use it because it's not as capable at this point in a competitive environment where actives are prevalent as the F-15 and the Su-27 because of its radar limitations and things like that. It's not as fast. It's not as... It doesn't have the energy that the other fighters have, which to me is a disadvantage. Longbow asks, why does nobody use the Su-33? That would be because the Su-27, again, this is my opinion, Billy, you can weigh in on this if you want, is a more capable airframe than the Su-33. In my opinion, that is because the Su-33 weighs more because of its landing gear. It's more rugged. It carries a bit more fuel. And because of that, it doesn't have quite as much energy. It can't accelerate as fast. And when people load it down with 12 missiles instead of the 10 that the Su-27 carries, it just puts it at an energy disadvantage and a maneuverability disadvantage for a sustained turn. Granted, it does have canards, so its instant turn rate is higher than the Su-27, but its sustained turn rate and the speed at which it bleeds energy is subpar in comparison to the Flanker B.
And I'm going to go ahead and agree with all that because that seemed quite on par to me. Not being super knowledgeable about red aircraft to begin with, but I think that, you know, the way you just surmised that probably couldn't be stated any better, to be honest with you. And I think, you know, to surmise what you're saying there, the weight really is a big factor there. When you increase size and you increase weight on something, you're slowing it down. And with what we're doing here, with what is going on, you know, the sport factor in this, the maneuverability, I think, is paramount.
Both teams are starting up. They should be spooling here taxiing here momentarily. We're going to hang out at Sochi. It's a little bit easier to see everybody at Sochi in comparison to Kataisi.
So we are...
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, we are confirmed they are down one fighter, correct? He didn't.
Yes.
No late minute show up.
RVE is
Sorry.
flying with 5, so they are going to be at a numerical disadvantage going into this against inSKY. So Combs says, does it look like they're taking any? Doesn't look like they're taking any M7s. We'll have to see. They probably are. Depends on how many AIM-9s they're taking. The AIM-9s, given that it's stormy and cloudy, are going to be, to me, more effective than the semi-actives AIM-7. Energy says the J11 is getting a sound fix. Energy had already got the sound fix. It works right out of the box now with my mod, so you're good. No more Su-25. It sounds like the Su-27.
And I'm not paid in any way to say this. I 100% underestimated how quality his sound mod was. I really enjoyed adding it to my whole experience. Just the little things, you start noticing it right away. It's quite nice. I think there's a link for it down in the channel.
The immersion, to me, people underestimate how important sound can be to an immersive experience, and it's just, if you don't have it, to me, it's not as fun.
The first time you hear that thud kick from the gear coming up, you're like, oh, what was, oh, okay, all right, I like the sound of that. That is different. That is nice.
Are the Twitch streams still sound okay? The plane's still a little loud? I know I turned you down. I got to make sure that everything's jiving. The music seems a little quiet. Turn them down a little bit. Tech, turn the volume and Twitch up, my friend.
I think they're looking for you on blue flag, Moltar.
Just waiting for these guys to taxi and get in shape.
And it looks like 3 pairs of 2. This seems to be the way it should open up.
So inSKY's ready. Let's check to see if RVE's ready. You guys are giving me a conniption about this sound volume. And people wonder why I ask all the time. So Half says the live tac view's cool. Man, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And I hope it all shakes out and that everything works out, that the tac view stays live and that you guys are able to see the battle come in. You can see the missile launches, and hopefully I can get it zoomed in enough to the point that you guys can build a better picture from what we can present you both here camera-wise on the stream, but also what you guys can view on TacView. So RVE says they're not ready. Waiting for them to finish up. We'll have to see if I can get an interview. I will gladly review. We're going to still review the tac views in between the rounds, so that's not an issue. No, Rohan, you can't watch it on TacView. There's another stream, so if you look in the DCS World stream Twitch channels, you'll see a DCS World Events 2, and I'm broadcasting TacView so that you guys can see both at the same time. So we'll ask RVE status here. Hopefully they're ready to go here soon. Tab's got me. He's throwing that out there for you, Phyllis. I'm not gonna lie here, Billy. My F-15 sound mod sounds a little weird. I need to fix that.
The F-15?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I've actually experienced the F-15 since installing your sound mod. I don't think I've upped it yet.
It needs some love. So we're waiting on RVE to get going. They say 30 seconds and we'll get this show on the road. Been a little bit delayed. We had some issues. If you guys are just joining us, we had some issues with inSKY disconnecting. We restarted the server. Everything seems kosher now. But we've got to talk about the teams again. RVE is flying with only 5 pilots. They have 4 F-15s in a singleton Mirage, while inSKY has 5 F-15s in a singleton Su-27.
And just to remind anyone who's just joining us, just the standing situation and implications of today's matchup. You know, RVE fighting for that second round spot, that bye once the playoffs start. So definitely a lot on the line here for them today, especially down a fighter. So this should be interesting to see how they can hold on to that spot with all things considered.
Still waiting. Ask him again. Graph, the J-11's allowed, just nobody's flying it. Not really sure why.
Was it last week or the week before last? I think we had a strong showing of J-11s.
Yeah.
Throughout the match.
Us in 51st, we flew a lot of the J-11s. We weren't very effective at them, but we had a strong showing. Graph, the R-77 is allowed. You can only carry 4, just like you can only carry 4 of the AIM-120s. And Fights on, go, go, go. So round 1 of this week 26 matchup between RVE and inSKY is now underway. Stevie99 says, hello, Merlin and Moltar. Well, hello, my friend.
Morning,
I know
Steve.
you're just here to, as Tricker would say, to see the backwards hats and the mustache. I know that's why you guys tune in.
Well, I'm as always curious how the formations are gonna shape up, especially with one squad being down a man, or how they're gonna try to at least play this initial meetup at Bullseye.
I'm really curious to see how these clouds shake out. I'm really interested to see what kind of role these guys have. What altitude are we going to see them break the clouds? So it's about 1,000 meters. Enter the clouds. I'm going to move here a little bit so I can get a better view of what's going on. Clouds, 1,000 meters. What's going to happen here? I'm anticipating some lawn darting going into this. At least that's my guess moving into in here. Do you think the clouds are going to play any type of role here, Billy?
Well, I think it generally does. I think it's really going to depend on where this fight makes its way over to. Is it over water? Are we drifting more in towards the mountains? I think we drift towards those mountains. It certainly could play a factor as these guys start getting into those high threat environments where you're going into evasives and you're coming in and out of that cloud layer at pretty rapid speeds. Reminding yourself that the mountaintops are a whole lot higher than the ground, I think can be a challenge even for the most seasoned vets.
So one thing I will say is right off the get-go as RVE's departing, I know we watched inSKY come out of here, but as we watch RVE depart, they are already hugely separated. So J-Man and Dexter look to be in a 2-ship. Microvax in the meme missile baguette is off on his own heading towards Kobaletti, or excuse me, Sanaki. So he's taking a westerly heading, and he may be going feet wet to try and flank. And then we have the 2-ship of Snowman and Seal taking an easterly offset, heading closer to the mountains. While if we look up here at inSKY, they're all bunched together. We'll have to see what happens if they separate, but they're all bunched together in a much more tightly knit pack.
Yes, interesting to see how inSKY is going to respond to this, because I think it's going to be their move whether they separate or try to deal with these individual groups as a pack.
What is RVE doing here? They're at a numerical disadvantage.
Certainly an orthodox approach. There's no doubt about that.
I think they're going for a flanking tactic here instead of just trying to come in all together. Maybe they're trying to use a tactic to try and overcome their numerical deficiency that they have going into this. I mean, it's I think what you have to do. If you go in fighting this head on, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage right from the get-go.
Indeed. Yeah, I think it's in their best interest to try to break that pack up of inSKY fighters. There's no doubt about it. They need to try to spread them thin.
It's really
chip away at it.
Kind of a cool formation going on there. Just a tandem, close fighting wing. Looks like inSKY is starting to separate into more definitive 2-ships. We've got, who is that? 1821 and 925 leading the way with 552 and 800 on the left, and 1155 and 155 up to the north. Guys, I'm sorry if I mess up their names at some point. The numbers can be quite difficult. They don't roll off the tongue in any way, shape, or form. So if we come back... Go ahead.
I totally agree. I was struggling last week with Chinese Festival with the same thing with the numbers. It can get a little difficult to follow along.
If we come back down here to RVE, it looks like they're moving into a 3-2 ship. Microvax is a singleton by himself, but they're moving into what looks like a wall formation. Separate with equal separation between everybody, or roundabouts. 10 nautical miles. About 10 nautical miles. While inSKY is still pretty closely knit here. Still pretty closely formed up here with 1821 and 522. I think it's 522. 925, excuse me. So separation between the elements now. We are down to 73 nautical miles. So we still got some time. Still got some space incoming. Steve Ho says not quite blues tight, yeah. That is true, but it still looks pretty good.
With Microvax heading out over the coast here, what do you think the odds are? Well, actually, as I say that, it looks like a flight from inSKY is peeling off. Actually, it looks like two separate pairs are peeling off, and the main lead flight is staying on path or on heading.
Yeah, is Microvax going to be engaged by this 2 ship? It looks like he's going to, unless this is the typical inSKY breakup into a 3 separate element wall formation. But Microvax going, he's not really going for camo with this livery. He's looking to try and stand out.
No doubt about that. The Tiger scheme certainly does that.
Steve-O says, so much for tactical paint. Yeah, that's my thinking exactly. So separation now is down to around 50 nautical miles between the center 2 ships, but from both teams. inSKY 1821 and 925 leading the way for inSKY, and Daxter and J-Man leading the way for RVE. It looks like... Are they going to try and come in on him?
It certainly seems like that pair has bad intentions for Microvax.
We'll have to see if they see him. Have to see. It doesn't look like 552 is nose on with Microvax. 800 maybe, but I think they may just be separating into more of a wall formation going into this.
I'm looking at what inSKY is doing right now.
That's what I'm looking at too.
Yeah, that pair just split off, and now one is cold, one is hot. Same with the other. It looks like, yeah, you might be right. Just based upon what we're seeing, it looks like they're starting to form a wall there, and they're going to cycle some guys back in to cover the guys egressing.
Yeah, Microvax is really high, so it is a possibility that they don't see him. He's Angels 50, so he could be above the antenna level that 552 is looking at. I'm not sure what the AWAC sees. It's flying sideways, so he could have it not. I don't know. But I don't think 552 sees... it does look like he's turning into him now, unless he's extending. Is he extending? No, it looks like he does see Microvax coming in here.
And it does, and he is positioned. He's got cover to turn. If he wants to push that engagement, he can hold on and turn back, because it looks like
Microvax may be in a little bit of trouble here. But now it looks like 552 may be extending, going really defensive. Maybe he's trying to defend against a ET that he doesn't see, or an AIM-9, but no threat. Don't think he got locked, but immediately turned cold. We see the first missile of the day coming from J-Man on 1821, but I don't think that's a factor, as 1821 immediately turns cold and starts to egress away from Bullseye.
Interesting here. I'm curious how long Microvax can occupy these 2 fighters over here, out over the water.
That, you know, you bring up a good point. That may be all he's trying to do. Equalize the playing field, feet dry, and keep 800 and 552, if he knows there is indeed 2 over there, occupied, so that there is an equal fight over top of Sakumi.
Absolutely. That's kind of where when I saw him starting to do that, it was, and there's a shot out on Microvax right now from 800. We'll see how this plays out.
Yeah,
Seems
that
like
missile's going to be dead. That was a
early
long shot.
Yeah, you have to think, if he can sit here and run these guys out of gas and missiles as long as possible, you know, that gives the rest of the squad every advantage, you know, once he goes down.
Looks like he is turning cold, so he's playing pretty defensive over here feet wet. But I really think what he's trying to do is occupy these two guys from inSKY. And Graf says, is he going for the AWACS? AWACS is actually outside of the bubble, so it's not a valid tactic to go for the AWACS. It doesn't. If you go for the AWACS, you leave the bubble and you can't come back in. So it doesn't. It's not really a valid strategy to take hold of. So in the center, we see a 4v4, but inSKY is really spread out. Well, if we look down here at RVE, they are much closer together, much closer clustered together, providing mutual support. And this is.
Would you have dispatched 2 fighters to deal with microvacs there, or would you have sent 1 guy?
In all honesty, what I think I would have done here is kept everybody together and attack the main formation of RVE and not try and separate here. I mean, you could, but you've got to deal with that pretty fast, because you have to look at it as you may be at a numerical disadvantage feet dry, at least in my opinion. Microvax is now head-to-head with 925 here. Feet wet, 120B coming from 925. Microvax is immediately turning cold. Another 120B coming from J-Man on 925. Is he turning into that? That 120B could be a problem for 925 as he recommits into J-Man, but I think it may be out of energy by the time it reaches him.
I'll tell you what, Microvax right now commanding a lot of attention from inSKY over there. Seemingly 4 fighters, at least 3 right now with their attention focused on him.
Now he's got 3. 925 breaking off from the main engagement over top of Kumin. It looks like he's coming out further into the feet wet arena. And I haven't seen a missile come off of Microvax, so he's playing really cautious here and really taking it to inSKY, separating these 3 guys from the main formation. Well, I say that, and as soon as I say that, it looks like 925 is recommitting, but 925 has allowed Snowman and Seal to get in deep.
And Microvax still holding around 40,000. He's keeping that altitude advantage over these guys, and I think that's really helping with his whole situation. He's really forcing these guys to come up there and play his game right now. And I think so too. I think that might be where inSKY might be making a mistake. I think, you know, at what point do you discover the ruse here and focus back in on the main fight and kind of, I think if you force Microvax into the coast, you put him at a disadvantage there almost, you know, as much as we all think the Mirage is good in the tight spaces there.
I thought Seal was getting in there a little too deep, but it looks like he realized that he was all by his lonesome and turned cold and is now extending southeast towards the rest of his formation. But 925 again looks like he is coming out feet wet to assist 800 and 552 deal with the Singleton Mirage of RVE. So Microvax is doing still a pretty decent job of keeping these guys occupied. I'd like to see Snowman, Seal, J-Man, and Daxter from the rest of RVE really try and be aggressive here and capitalize on the numerical advantage that they now seemingly have. But maybe they just don't realize it. Maybe they don't have a GCI that's able to let them know the overall picture of what's going on.
Well, certainly reading the picture here is key, and I think I think you might be exactly right, that it seems like that might be the case just based upon what we're seeing. They're struggling to develop an accurate picture, at least.
So one thing that I will say, and I'm going to use the last week's match in comparison, it's what I do like, and I think this is playing out to both teams being able to not waste as much countermeasures and stuff, is when you watched 51st last night, there was an issue where everybody was really low. And I think being low put them at a disadvantage where, since Chinese Festival was higher, they were able to capitalize on the energy advantage and the altitude advantage, where they had the look down, shoot down ability with their radar. But both teams in this particular engagement are staying high, and maybe this is because of the cloud deck, but they're staying high, and because they stay high, they maintain their energy. And it's easier to maintain situational awareness from a higher standpoint instead of being down low in the weeds and being at the mercy of guys coming in high. So Daxter could be in a bit of trouble. He's inside 7 nautical miles with the 120B. He immediately turns cold. I think that missile's going to be out of energy by the time it gets to him. So I don't really think it's going to be a huge problem.
1821,
no, that missile will be dead.
Yep, both look like they're going to die out.
Microvax, though, I think this may be a problem. He's coming back, feet dry, dragging 925, 800, and 552 with him. What do they see here?
Now, Microvax is going to be at a pretty significant fuel disadvantage in comparison to the flankers in those F-15s, correct? You have to think that's going to factor in.
He's been at pretty high altitude. The Mirage does really well at high altitude, so I don't really think he's at too big of a disadvantage with fuel. I think he's going to be okay.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
If we look here, RVE could be in a bit of a pickle. And you guys can see it on the map. They are completely surrounded on two sides.
Yeah. Looks
and they're
like
stuck in the middle.
Smelling blood in the water right now, no doubt about it. They seem to be kind of pushing in. They need the top 3 fighters to get hot on the action, and they should be in pretty good
800
situation.
Exchanging with J-Man. J-Man's not yet defensive on that 120. That 120 could be a problem. Is he going to be able to get into the notch? There it is! And it flew right by him. That was within like 10 meters of the back of J-Man's plane.
Yeah, that was the closest call of the match so far, folks. It's starting to heat up.
So Daxter's now pressing on 925, and J-Man with his extend has come pretty close now to 552. Does 552 know he's there? I don't think he does. I think 552 is going to go head-to-head with Microvax, but Daxter is he's not in a very good position against this 120 coming from one of the inSKY guys, but he goes into a vertical notch, so I think that 120 isn't going to be a problem. Oh, man! Second close call. Oh, it was just a little bit of lag, so it did come by him. Little bit of lag coming there, but Daxter gets splashed by 925. I thought he had it as we saw it come by, but the missile did indeed hit him. 530 coming from Microvax, but I think that's a dead missile as he egresses trying to defend against that 120B. So first splash of the day.
So that Daxter. Man advantage now becomes a 2-man advantage for inSKY in this whole equation here.
Yes.
And it's now getting a little bit hotter for the folks over at RVE. A lot more needed out of them to be able to pull this one off.
Yes, but because Daxter got splashed, J-Man he's in trouble. He is sandwiched. But ladies and gentlemen, this sandwich involves 3 pieces of bread with guys on 3 different sides. Just trying to imagine that sandwich. But he's in trouble here. He's between 3 guys. 552 is now broken off, but if he chases 800, he's got 925 all over his 6. So I'd like to see 800 come here more to the east so he can allow 925 close the gap here on J-Man.
Yeah, this is a race right now. I mean,
But if we look up here to the north, Seal's in a bit of trouble. Those 120Bs look like they have some energy as they close in, and indeed they do as they make contact with Seal right over just east of Sakumi. So we're down to a 3v6 now. I haven't seen anybody get splashed from inSKY, and J-Man is still in a bit of a pickle out here, feet wet between 800 and 925.
Wow, and that started quickly, as it usually does around these parts. That was entertaining right there.
So everybody's separating. We can see J-Man still in a bit of trouble between 800 and 925. Snowman looks to be running from 552. That fight's pretty isolated, but maybe he's trying to drag to Microvax. So in this particular situation, I would like to see Snowman and Microvax communicating. If Snowman knows there's a guy back there, Microvax come in, radar off, and see if he can find 552. I know it's a little bit difficult using the IR seeker heads on the Mirage, but to see if he can find 552. Oh, let's jump over here, J-Man. That 120B, it does take him down. So J-Man gets splashed, and we're now down to a 6v2. Microvax and Snowman have recommitted together. 530 coming from Microvax here.
inSKY probably ought to start thinking about sending some fighters home, right?
I don't think it's been long enough. 120B coming from Snowman could spell disaster for 115. Is he going to be able to get away from that? I see a bit of chaff. No, he gets taken down. So J-Man, or Snowman, excuse me, able to take down one of the inSKY guys, but Microvax, I think, is down to Magics only.
And he's got somebody on the run here. I think it's 552. Looks like he's in pretty good chase. However, he's got one in on him from 1821. This is going to end up pretty interesting here.
Yeah, but I think Microvax has the energy advantage. I think he's going to be able to outrun any of those missiles coming from 1821. Aim 9, that's going to be a no factor. I think, unless Microvax keeps slowing down. No, that missile's out of energy. Microvax, keep your energy up. Chase that guy down. It looks like he's going to be able to, but he's down to magics only. Chasing 552. Is there anything going up north? No, Snowman's isolated, so he's not a factor in this.
He's got the energy right now. He's cruising around 800. He's about 100 miles fast, 100 knots faster than the.
He's just got to keep it up. He's got to keep it up, and as the inSKY lad is defensive, he's bleeding all kinds of energy and allowing Microvax to chase this down. Microvax is actually out of missiles, I believe. He is guns only, and he does get splashed. He got hit. He's missing his nose cone. He's in guns only, but I don't think he's got it now. After taking that hit, there's the second one, and Microvax loses his wing. So Snowman now. And maybe I missed one of the inSKY guys getting taken down, but it's a 1v4 going into this fight. What is Snowman going to be able to do here?
I'll tell you what, valiant effort by Microvax there to try to take on those 3 fighters himself.
It really was.
It was impressive.
But Snowman, my bad, guys. Sorry to jump to the airfield. Snowman is now defensive. I would assume defending against that aim 7. Let's zoom in here a little bit on TAC view, give you guys a bit of a better, view of what's going on. Give you some more of their information as we get in here.
They smell the blood there. They are hot on him.
Snowman is in the clouds. I think his only choice of action here is to try and drag this into the mountains. I don't think he can deal with 4 guys, feet wet, over flat ground. Especially since they're F-15. I don't think he can do it. And it looks like 925 is going to be able to chase him down. 925 is currently at Mach 3, while Snowman's at Mach 1.1. So 925 has the energy advantage here.
What does Snowman have left for ordnance?
He's got a couple things, but that aim 9 is going to spell disaster for him. Can't see him in the clouds. We see him get splashed as he comes down through the cloud deck. He's dropping flares. He is still up right here, but I think he's in trouble. Yeah, he broke up. So that's it from RVE. And inSKY wisely sending a couple of their guys home early.
Yeah, you had to expect that was going to happen at some point there with the numbers advantage. The way that was, that would be foolish not to.
Yeah, I think so. They made the right decision. We've seen in the past, they didn't do this. They learned from those mistakes. They ran out of fuel, and then they drew things to a draw because of that.
Well, and that's what it's all about right there, learning from your mistakes as a group and making those decisions in the moment to extend your abilities like that.
Wobbling Goblin says extra visual effects in the clouds. Yeah, the clouds do some weird things, but I know I've complained about the clouds in the past and make it harder to stream, but I think it adds a dynamic because people have to deal with it. So the flights are a little different instead of people just flying in clear skies. Indeed, and it Pop Ron and Sin, thanks for the follows, gents.
It provides a significant visual issues when you're in that fur ball in there at times, and the clouds can really they tend to show up right at the last moment when you need them to.
It's a little bit too far away to see any rejoins. Can we see any back here? Yes, we can.
Well, how do you think the man advantage played out in that initial opening salvo there? I think that what RVE did was the way to play that being down a man. What Microvax did by drawing those fighters out there, it just wasn't enough at the end of the day, unfortunately, for RVE.
I think it was pretty significant. I think RVE did a decent job with Microvax drawing a couple of them early, but as soon as Microvax brought them back in feet dry, that's kind of when shit hit the fan, and it's hard to sort when you're getting hit on multiple directions when you're all clustered together, because you don't have anywhere to go. So in that particular situation, I would have liked to see RVE extend, regroup, see if they can get some space spread out a little bit. See if they could isolate any of the inSKY guys. But I think a lot of that not only was RVE at a numerical disadvantage with the less pilots, but they were also possibly running without a GCI and inSKY having a GCI were at a situational awareness disadvantage. So not only numerical, but an SA disadvantage because of not running an AWACS, which I assume because they only have 5 pilots, unless they decided that a GCI was more important than the 6th pilot. I'm just assuming that they don't have a guy in Lot ATC at the moment.
That would make sense. You'd have to think that if you had a warm body that could get in a plane, you'd rather have him there than looking at the picture.
So we don't see any of the inSKY guys reforming up into any type of formations. I think they're just going to do straight-in approaches here on runway 06, I think. Or it's going to be runway 24.
Do we think fuel is a factor for any of these 4 planes right now?
I don't think so. I think they're perfectly fine. And yeah, to be honest, I think they're high enough and close enough to Sochi that I don't really think it's a factor, even if 1821 being the closest, even if he did run out of fuel, he could land this just gliding in. I don't think it's any issue coming in here.
So if you're RVE, how do you approach this second round based upon what you did in that first one? Do you come out and you try to do the same thing, but do you do it better, or do you take a whole nother approach here coming into the second round?
I think RVE's downfall there was not capitalizing on the separation that Microvax created. They still flew very defensive, and they didn't capitalize on they actually had a numbers advantage on that eastern front when Microvax was taking 3 of the pilots away. And because they didn't capitalize on that, I think that spelled the end. Nye came for them because they weren't able to take advantage of the openings that inSKY had for them. And when you're outgunned and you're outmanned, I think it's, if you don't take advantage of those mistakes and things like that, it's just, it spells death. In this case, everybody died.
No, absolutely. When you're at that much of a disadvantage, when the opportunity knocks, you gotta answer the door, and I think they'll be looking to improve on that going around in the next round here. I think, but that is going to be key though, is doing something to create that type of situation that they were able to do in that first one, and whether inSKY is wise to the notion now of that strategy, especially like you're saying with them having an AWACS and somebody able to read the picture. Will they counter a little differently to not get put into that position? So it'll be interesting to see how they come out as well.
This is what the clouds do, as they do some weird things as you come through them. Granted, I really shouldn't be able to see these guys coming down. He should be below the cloud deck. He is indeed. So let's see if we can pick him up at Sochi. Which runway is he going for? He's going to go for 06, which should be this runway. Can we see him? We can. And guys, we are going to do a TAC view debrief after this. So stay tuned for that. We're going to do a TAC view debrief after each one of these. Or each one of these rounds. I don't know that we're going to have an interview at the end, since I've talked to the RVE guys. We'll just have to see if we're going to be able to get some. Comey, what do you mean padlocks? You mean watching like if I'm on from this location? I just hit F11 on the airfield, or control F11 to get a location like this, and then hit control F3 to lock in for flyby mood or view. So 1821 should be able to put this one down no problem. He's already below the cloud deck. I don't think wind's going to be any significant issue. Turning on to finals. We see his gear coming down. Where's he landing? A little bit off here. He's coming back in now. Where are you going? Nah, he looks okay now. Wobbling. I thought for a second he was going to land on the taxiway. He's still really high. Come on. Well, that's better. He may have run out of fuel. I can't hear him. So we see the wind's playing a significant factor here. He's getting blown around a little bit. But he's able to put it down. So, is he okay? Where are you going? Don't flip over. No, he's okay. So inSKY, with that landing, takes the first round, putting them 1-0 in this best of 3 Week 26 RVE versus inSKY. So because of that, let's jump back to the talk show and get TACView set up here while I get all this other stuff ready to rock. So I'm going to shut the server down. What'd you think of that, Billy, while I get everything set up here?
I'll tell you what, to me, the more interesting factor was Microvax in that Mirage 2000. You know, I enjoyed watching what he was able to do there with that and how he was able to lure those two fighters out and kind of keep the attention of seemingly a large portion of the inSKY squad for quite a while there, and you know, did what he needed to do to keep that aircraft up around 40,000, make them come up and chase him and play that game. I think to me that was one of the, you know, the bigger highlights of the match. But like you were saying before, you know, I'm looking to the next round to see whether they can capitalize on those type of tactics and whether they do try something a little bit different, but more so along those lines.
Well, maybe I need to turn you up, Billy. Maybe you're too quiet. Let's try and turn you up a smidge. See if that helps at all. What do you think they could do better maybe next round while I get this all ready to go?
Well, I think they have to do what they can to try to break up this inSKY squad into sizable chunks that they can eat. Because I think if you try to take them on as a group all at once, being with that down one man, and seemingly we're not sure whether they have AWACS or not, you know, I think you're gonna have to do what you can in that situation to try to lure, just like they did in that first one, to lure some of these inSKY guys into traps, if you will, and chew them off in smaller bites. I think that's probably going to be key for RVE.
So let's jump to the TACView. I'm going to try and send this to you. Okay, sent you the TACView so you can follow along. But let's jump to TACView here so you guys can see what's going on. And let's talk about what happened. So, let me make sure I've got all my labels. Should be good. So coming in here, nothing really happens at first. We can see Microvax breaking off. And this is where I think RVE did it right. He broke off. He drew two of the guys at the start. And then eventually you can see, this is when 925 came off and came towards him. The issue here is that when this happened, even when there were two guys over here on Microvax, let alone when there were three guys when Microvax did it, there wasn't any type of push coming from RVE. So they had this advantage, and maybe they just didn't know about it because of the situational awareness of not having a GCI, but they didn't capitalize on this. moving forward. So right now, they actually outnumber inSKY over here on the Eastern Front. If we don't include 925, if we assume 925 is over here on Microvax, it's actually 4v3 over here on the Eastern Front next to Sakumi and Guadata. So because they didn't capitalize on this, to me, this is where they went wrong. And since they didn't capitalize on this, it allowed 925 and 800 specifically, and even 552 when Microvax felt like he was threatened, to then press on the Western Front of the RVE side. So now, not only are they at a numerical disadvantage, they're being pressed on both the north and western sides of their flanks. So now this spells the end for Daxter and J-Man. They're surrounded on 3 sides, and this is not a position you want to be. Daxter gets in here a little too deep, and when you're this close, he should have put a 120B. Maybe he didn't have any left on 925 when he defended. I think 925 would have eaten it here. But when you're that... Oh, my bad. When you're that close, you're not going to defend that unless you get into a notch and you're slow and you jump enough chaff. You're just... It's not going to work. How close are we here? I mean, it's not too bad. 13 nautical miles. 25,000 feet. So it's not awful. Somewhere in there. Not even. No, that's like
a really good job of containment. Once they got through dealing with Microvax there, they seem to do a good job of spreading out and kind of containing RVE.
I think a lot of that just came down to how RVE basically just said, here we are, and put themselves out there on a platter. And a lot of it came down to when they didn't capitalize on the initial engagement, and then when they were separated, the inSKY guys were separated, they just got drawn into the left flank of the RVE guys, and that spelled the end. So as soon as Daxter goes down, J-Man gets sandwiched between the funky sandwich of 3 slices of bread and almost gets 800 right there with that AIM 7H right there. But I think 800 has too much energy, and J-Man just gets run down by 925 at that point. So going forward, now that engagement's been taken care of. Now we're over here in the center, and now we're just down to numerics, to numbers. We see 1155 get taken down by a 120. This is the exact same thing that happened to Daxter. They're just in too close here, and they can't defend it. So you're at 6 kilometers roundabouts. You're not... From a 120B, you're effectively dead at that point. You're not getting away from that. You're just going to die.
Credit to RVE, though. It seems as if every plane fought as hard as it could before it went down. I mean, nobody seemed to have laid down during this thing.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only issue is they just didn't capitalize on the advantages that they had. So moving forward... Go ahead.
I think we can chalk that up too to the AWACS not having that, if that is in fact the case, not having that situational awareness there. That definitely was a factor.
Going forward, and I thought Microvax got hit by 1821, but what ended up happening is 552 drug Microvax into 800, and then 800 just he initially gets hit by a 120B, and then just eats. I think he does eventually get hit by. Nope, he gets hit by an AIM 7. Is the second missile there. And he just gets hit head on and can't do anything about that. So Microvax, good job on the inSKY boys. 552 dragging it to 800. That was well done to get Microvax off your 6. And then closing this up, Snowman just gets run down. And he's defensive there. And 925 is just better at conserving energy and just runs him down. Mach 1.1 at the initial launch against Mach 0.9. You're not getting away from that. And that spells the end of round 1. So let's move on to round 2 here. Nope. If I could type my password. Maybe I can't. There we go. So the team should be joining now. And we will jump into this. Not talk show. SKY, thanks for the host, my friend. Welcome to the stream. For any of you guys that are just joining, maybe new to SATAL, this is SATAL. Hey, I remembered the score this time. Pit 6v6 from squadrons against one another. And in an all-out brawl to the death. May the best team win. So right now, inSKY took the first round. It's 1-0. We're moving on to round 2. If inSKY wins this, it's the end of the match. If RVE wins it, we move on to round 3, since it's a best of 3. Okay, so we'll watch RVE taxi and depart this time. Jump in here. Wobblin' Goblin says the votes are 5-4 for inSKY. Huh. It's pretty even.
Yeah, considering the man advantage, it's definitely interesting.
Let's take a look at loadouts here. inSKY likes to take quite a few aim 7s. So we've got 2 aim 7s there. Another 2 aim 7s. Another 2 aim 7s. Yeah, Comey, down below, you can see the purple Twitch extension. You can vote in there. Another 2 aim 7s. And normal loadout for the Mirage. So it looks like, and I'm sorry, this isn't inSKY, this is RVE. RVE is taking a heavier loadout on the radar homing and not IR, which is surprising to me going into this, given the cloud cover and the low cloud deck. I would think that if, especially if the fight got low, that the IR missiles, given how hard they are to spot with smokeless motors, would have been the way people would have gone. I guess not.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. That's an interesting choice by RVE.
Comey, I'm glad we could point that out for you, buddy.
And looks like we're going to get some more Mirage action. Let's see how that is employed.
Dut23 says, are we planning another future events besides SATAL? I am. So there's some stuff that we are working on. If you got any of you guys have been around for a long time, one of the things that you guys will remember is Persian Incident. So we're bringing Persian Incident back. I think we're going to base it on, I don't know how many people know this. I think we're going to base it on the Blue Flag mission. So it's going to be like a squadron, much more organized, Blue Flag-esque type event. I'm also looking at doing more 2v2s, do some gun stuff. So we're not limiting just to this squadron 6v6 event here. We're broadening our horizons. This has just been our first foray, seeing how people do, seeing how people are interested, and we'll move forward from there. So
is Comey suggesting I host some sort of rodeo? I'm not sure how that would work.
A rodeo?
Not sure how a DCS rodeo would work.
I mean, we could
sounds interesting
do it.
Though.
We could make it so that the IC's off and give everybody, make all their planes like bulls or horses.
That sounds more like Destruction Derby.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. Grumpy Finn says Gunzo love. Yeah, I'm looking to do that, and I think it would be an exciting event. I think it would be exciting to watch. So it is definitely something that I'm looking at doing. So everybody's loaded in on the RVE side. We can hear them spooling up. Comey, I will gladly worry about the details. No problems with that. Grumpy Finn, anticipate a lot of these events coming out probably sometime in 2019, early parts of 2019. I got to get some other stuff organized and finalize SATAL, and then we'll get the ball rolling on the other stuff. Wobbling, the weather is static. It will not clear up. So if you set the weather, that's just how it's going to be. I'd like to have dynamic weather. It's something we're missing in DCS. but we make do with what we have.
Yeah, that would be nice to get better dynamic, better setup.
Looks like Microvex is going to lead the way for RVE. Half is asking what the wind is at. What is the wind at?
I'll check.
Wind ground level is 10 meters a second. 2,000 meters is 15. 8,000 is 5. Cloud base is 1,000 meters. So it's not insignificant. I have highlighted here. Let's highlight that. Waiting on everybody to finish taxiing. And it looks like RVE has 6 pilots now. So we'll have to see how this goes.
Whew,
Yours is in a C-27. This is a pretty big
interesting turn
development.
of events. Yes, indeed. See how this factors into round 2.
And I think this is... I don't have any issues with this, so I don't want anybody to think that this is against the rules. Nobody's changing airframes. They came in with 5. I don't have a problem with them adding somebody into the 6th.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. They basically willingly played that first match down a man, so all is fair in my opinion.
There goes yours in the Su-27. Waiting on these guys to finish up taxiing. What does yours have? What is he rocking? Normal flanker loadout, 2 ETs and 4 ERs. But that begs the question, Billing. Was yours doing GCI in the last round? And did they deem it more significant to have another pilot as opposed to having a GCI?
That's an interesting notion right there. Very well could be the case. I'm sure that might have been talked about in between rounds and might be a valuable decision to have him back out there as opposed to reading the picture. I think you might be right there.
There sort of is an afterburner mod, so we'll watch yours depart. So I have a flanker J11 afterburner mod that turns it blue. I don't know that we can mod all of it, but Vitor from the Splash 1 Gaming made this mod and I threw it in, and it actually looks really cool. So we'll watch yours depart here. Waiting on RVE to finish lining up. inSKY's ready. And fights on. So this is round 2. inSKY leading the way, currently 1-0. Is RVE going to be able to bring this back in even 1-1?
Once again, you know me. I'm curious what these formations are going to be. We'll see if we get similar stuff. I think we had inSKY coming out in 3 pairs of 2 and then split as they tried to figure out, I think, what RVE was doing.
Half the survey's down below. Just click the survey panel. Should take you to it. So I think the Su-27's afterburner in real life is actually blue. I think. Don't quote me on that. But I think it's actually blue, so Vitor made it blue to try and make it more realistic.
And it looks like the Mirage is moving out with a F-15, and we have a lone F-15 as a result now.
Yeah, we'll see if they reform here going forward. Combs, it doesn't... The texture isn't modeled right now for the F-15. I can see if Vitor can do it for the F-15, but right now it's just the flanker. So jumping back into the matchup as these guys egress away from Sochi and Kataisi. Comey, thanks for the host, my buddy. Anybody coming with Comey, welcome. RVE is much more spread out. inSKY is much more compact as they come into this engagement. inSKY's really slow as they go through this climb. Have to see what shakes out here. Missing.
inSKY is staying a whole lot tighter.
Sorry, guys. Got to adjust my green screen here real quick. There we go. Fix that. Okay. So inSKY is much closer than what we're seeing from RVE. So RVE is what looks like right now in a 2-ship, a 3-ship, and a singleton. So 2-ship of Daxter and Microvax. We've seen them work together in the past. A 3-ship of Snowman, Seal, and Yours up here to the north. And J-Man, the lone F-15, bringing up the center. While if we jump down here to inSKY, they're all still pretty well clumped up. We may have 3 2-ships of 925, 1821, 1155, and 1823, and 800 and 552 coming over here to the east.
Curious what Microvax and Daxter are going to do out over the water here.
We may see the same type of stuff go down that we saw last round. Maybe they take a feet wet approach, try and separate them, but now Daxter or Microvax isn't going to be by himself. He's going to be with the teammate here.
Yeah, that seems to be the way it's shaping up to me right now. We'll see whether inSKY bites on that or not, because if inSKY stays in, feet dry, you kind of force them out of their game there, and that could be to your advantage.
Daxter and Microvax over Mach 1. Still staying together, still high. Passing 43,000. Separation is 75 nautical miles. Looks like J-Man has fallen back. So J-Man looks to be regrouping with Yours. So it does indeed look like we're going to see 3 2-ships coming from RVE. And 3 2-ships, I would assume, coming from inSKY.
We're going to need to see what this group does here. This is going to be interesting to see. Yeah. Oh, looks like they're already starting to kind of split up. A 3-flight and a 2-flight? No, a 4-flight and a 2-flight, pardon me. It's 2 of the 4 being very close for inSKY.
inSKY coming through marking. Is there altitude separation coming on here? There is. inSKY 552 and 800 are separating from the main remaining 4-ship. Building some distance. Daxter and Microvax are taking feet wet. Actually, the entire RVE squadron is going feet wet here.
And it seems like inSKY is reluctantly starting to deal with that. almost as if they wanted to stay feet dry, and they're now realizing that the majority is feet wet.
Graf, we've only had the one so far. I don't think they're dealing with it. I think 1823 and 115 are going to recommit. This is just how they separate. They build separation between their two ship elements. At least that's my assumption. Separation now. Microvac's leading the way is down to about 40 nautical miles. Graf, it's just we didn't deem it a fair fight. The error gap between the 27 and the 15 is pretty significant, so we felt like the 120B in the ER was more of a era appropriate engagement.
Some more separation now out of inSKY.
Yeah, I think this is what they do. They do a lot of what Chinese Festival does, where they'll break up into a 3-ship wall with a 3-ship trailing wall. But I don't know that they see Microvax and Daxter. They haven't sorted over there yet. They may be just going gung-ho on the main RVE formation here.
Microvax is getting awfully close for what seems like a non-reaction out of at least 11.55 there. You'd think he'd have picked him up by now.
He's passing 45,000.
Might be an altitude thing.
We're inside 20 nautical miles in 1155. We can see him change course. He's now nose hot with Microvax. But he's the only one nose hot. I don't know that he knows this is a 2-ship. I don't know that he knows Daxter's there.
And is RVE going to press these other 4 to take advantage of the confusion that could ensue here?
There's the first aim 7 shot coming off a 1155, and it puts Microvax immediately on the defensive. That was a long fox. Could have seen him continue to take it to 1155. I don't think that was going to be an issue.
Significant altitude disparity there. Almost 15,000 feet between the two of those aircraft. He fired that thing almost straight up.
Let's turn off the webcams this time, boys. Okay, so what is going down? We don't see the separation that we saw from inSKY the first round. We didn't see them go out this time against Microvax or Daxter. They're keeping their shape. But they're really spread out. Both teams are very spread out here.
And like I said, you get the feeling inSKY is very reluctant to go feet wet. It's like they send fighters out and they're coming right back in to shore afterwards. That's where RVE is really hanging out over the coast right now.
Half-inch soul. I think you donated last round too. Thank you, buddy. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
That just goes back to making this stream better. I always thought, oh, the game's free. I'm just going to do streaming for fun. Yeah, right. Becomes an addiction as much as flying DCS. So back to the stream, though. Again, thank you. So what's going to happen? We're seeing essentially the same types of formations going on here from both sides. 2 ships closer together up here to the north, and you have 2 ships down here to the south, more isolated. ER coming from inSKY 800. Not the right button.
Does J-Man? Yes, he is going
to
base
it. That missile's dead. You can see how quickly the ER is defeated coming in there. You just even think about going into the notcher, even think about farting out some chaff, and that missile's dead.
It looks like yours firing a shot at 800.
Yeah, that missile's
die.
Dead too. That was a long fox on a cold Bennett. 12 nautical miles on somebody that's already cold. There's no way that's gonna reach.
Yeah, you have to think he fired that in an effort to try to bump him off J-Man. At least it felt like.
That looks like an ET. That may work. That looks like it's on 552.
Oh, Snowman in 1821 head on right now.
Let's jump down there. So 1821 may be in trouble. Now he's turning cold. What's the energy on that missile? That missile's dead. He got that into a notch. It's trash. Yeah, the AB mod, Vidor did a good job. Seeing that blue, it looks pretty good. So both teams playing very defensive here. Nobody's been splashed yet. I don't know what 1823 and 1155 are doing down here way to the south, but I think this is going to be our initial incursion in here in the center of Seal 925 and Snowman in 1821. That AIM-7's dead. Those 120Bs, I don't know that he meant to launch 2 of them. Those are dead.
Could prove to be a crucial mistake as things pan out here. And Daxter still hanging out wide out there. I don't know if he's trying to prevent a flank of some sort, but he's definitely out dangling out in the wind.
Yeah, I don't... We could see an issue for inSKY up here to the north. There are now 3 RVE guys up here to the north. So Microvax and Daxter, or no, just Microvax has come to reinforce the northern front. Daxter's been kind of a non-factor in this matchup over here, feet wet. But we could see a 3v2 up here to the north. Microvax pressing. Is he still really high? 24,000, so he's not too bad. That 120B is going to be dead by the time it reaches him. We see Microvax up there.
Awesome impact. Glad you're enjoying that TACU channel.
Sort of, but he's still so far away. I don't think this... 552 is in a world of trouble as J-Man comes in on his left flank. Does J-Man see him? I don't know. J-Man doesn't see him. They flew right by each other. Oh,
J-Man
no.
just engaged with somebody. Looked like he just fired
and
at 800.
Yours could be in trouble here defending that 120B. Yours didn't defend fast enough.
Cutting back in on J-Man now. And once again, I don't think he saw him. He was focused on 800. And now it looks like J-Man is
J-Man's in trouble. He's defending against that ER, takes that ER. That ER had all kinds of energy by the time it reached him. So that's really unfortunate right there.
And Microvax is seeming to be pressed real high to the north here. See if he starts making his turn to come back in. He's got 2 fighters in between him and the main pack now. Yeah. That could prove to be a problem.
So here, this is what I'd like to see from inSKY. They've splashed 2 guys from RVE, but they need to realize that they have a numerical advantage down here to the south, and these 2, 800 and 552, need to come down and deal with this 2-ship. They need to help 925, 1821, and 1823 to capitalize on this advantage that they have numbers-wise here over feet wet, just south of Sakumi here. And it looks like that is what they're doing. Go ahead.
RVE down to 4 or 5 fighters right now?
They're down to 4.
Struggling.
2
4
quick splashes. Right, Seal and yours getting taken down, or J-Man, excuse me.
1821's got a 120B on him, but it doesn't look like it's going to have enough.
That's going to be out of energy. That's completely out of energy by this point.
Well, this 3-on-3 matchup here to the south near Katasi or Sanaki rather, is really starting to heat up. They're circling back, and now I'm sorry, it's a 4-on-3 matchup. Microvax needs to get down there and start engaging and hopefully try to even this out, although you feel like 800 to the north there might be trying to cut him off. He's going to need Seal to help him out and get him back to the pack.
It looks like Microvax indeed was able to make it back down here to his brethren over feet wet. inSKY 552 and 800 didn't make the commitment early enough to capitalize on the separation that Microvax had from the rest of the RVE guys, but we'll have to see how this shakes out. I'd like to see now what happened in the first round coming from inSKY with a press on multiple flanks. Coming from the east, coming from the south, coming from the southeast. Makes it much more difficult to defend. What I'd like to see from RVE is for them to all stay together. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no worries. It seems like inSKY is doing a very good job of holding the coast right now, really forcing RVE out over water. The terrain's certainly not playing a big role in this round right now, that's for sure.
Zoom in here a little bit on the engagement so you guys can get a better idea of stats, G's, and altitude. But Microvax, he's moving. He's pulling Mach 2. He's still pretty high. Nobody's going to catch him, but I need him to use that speed advantage to blow through and hit people. 800 looks like he's pressing on Seal. Seal and 800 now head-to-head. Seen ER coming off the rails from 800, but he's going to have to defend that 120B. No chaff coming yet. There's the chaff.
120's got some
It went
momentum.
Pitbull. 800 could be in trouble here. Did he get into a notch? I think he did. Yeah, he did. He ran it out of energy. Seal able to defend that ER just in the nick of time, so they're both able to put each other defensive there. Keep each other off. Pressing in too deep.
1821 in Daxter, although 21 looks like he's 1821 looks like he's turning away now, but 925 could be pushing in along with 23 down there. Oh, shot out from Daxter on 1823.
I think 1823 is going to get that into a notch, or that missile is going to be completely out of energy by the time it reaches him.
Yep.
I don't think that's a problem. We can see Snowman jettisoning his tanks, finally. inSKY still looks like they're fighting this out with 3 bags.
Microvax alone to the north again, trying to...
He could be in a very advantageous position here this time, though.
Yes, it seems like he's been looping out, trying to draw people up almost. And it seems like he almost may have lured someone into his trap here. 800 needs to turn back in on that. As
here we go. Here we go. Microvax coming in with tons of energy. Mach 2 against 552. That Matra has shit tons of speed coming in here. I think he's in a world of hurt. 552's in trouble. Does he get into a notch? Does he get it? Oh, he's able to notch it. Drops enough chaff. That's not a problem. And Microvax gets taken down by the 120. Not able to get that into a notch. Going Mach 2. Not able to turn fast enough. Man, I thought that was going to go the other way.
Me too. That missile looked like it had the most momentum I've seen out of anyone on this map before. That was impressive.
That thing had all sorts of energy coming in there. I thought he was dead for sure, but got it into a vertical notch and was able to defend it.
We definitely need to make a note to check that one out in TAC view. That is going to be interesting to see how he evaded that.
So we're down to a 3v5. 3v5? Yeah.
120 with some energy on Snowman, but it looks like he's going to get away from that.
Both of those exchanges are dead. Missile's going to be completely out of energy by the time they get anywhere near the opposition.
All of inSKY, for the most part, cold right now. It looks like the groups are coming back to reset, except for the 2 to the bottom. Seal and 925 might have an engagement here. Looks like a shot out. Where is that going?
Looks like all of inSKY is now extending. I do like to see this. They may have realized that they got a little too separated, trying to recommit.
Yeah, it looks like inSKY is going to take it back into the coast, bring it back around, and give it a go at these last 3 here. We'll see what these guys can do.
Here comes 552. Looks like 1155 down here to the south is thinking about recommitting. Who's 552 going after? He may be going after the southern 2 ship down there. Indeed, that is what it looks like he's doing. He's going after Seal. And it wasn't a 2 ship, it's just a singleton. Nope. He's recommitting on Daxter. We're not close enough that we can get the F5 view. We can
Snowman
see
gonna
that
be able to come in and finish this off, though. He's got momentum pulling into that.
Yeah, but I think 552 is going to immediately defend that. 120B was launched a little bit too far away, and 552 goes on the defensive right away as soon as that missile goes pitbull.
And 800 is in a good position to defend the egress, so it looks like he's going to get away from that for sure.
Seal could be in trouble down here against 3. A 3 ship from inSKY of 925, 1821, and 1155. ER coming off the rail from 800 against Snowman. That thing's going to be dead as Snowman immediately turns cold. Starting to run out of missiles here. Let's check on what everybody's got.
Should beat me to it. I was about to say, I smell the cold steel of a gun barrel here. I might be getting some gun matchups coming. We'll see
800 has all 73s. No, we're still doing okay on the inSKY side. They still have plenty. inSKY still has plenty of stuff going on. But RVE is starting to look... They're looking a little thin on the radar front. 120B coming off the rail on 925 on Seal. Seal's going to be in trouble. Couple 120Bs coming from him in exchange, but I think he's, yep, defended a little bit too close. Eats the aim 9 second. He's going into the water here.
Almost got it with one of those two as he got tanked.
But 1155, aim 9 coming on him. I think this, yep, spells disaster. He eats it, but he's still up. No engine fire. Nothing going on, so now he's on the 6 of Snowman. Oh, no. Comey drops what I said, I think, in a previous round, the secondary facefuck. Yep, he just takes it to the dome. 120B on Daxter, that's not going to be a problem. 1155 now. Oh, Daxter, I would have liked to see you keep the press there, but it looks like he's going to take it to 552. Snowman's going to be in trouble. That 120 has some energy coming through here. Yep, and it does indeed take him down. So Daxter being the last remaining, but that aim 9, oh no, flares late. And that spells the end.
That's all she wrote, folks. There you go.
For the RVE squadron.
Interesting round right there. That was entertaining. I think the better of the two for sure. Just, you know, without the numbers advantage aspect of it. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, it lasted a little longer. There was some more interesting stuff. I want to see in TAC View that engagement the Microvax had with, I think, was 552. I want to see that come down.
I'd love to get the telemetry on that missile too and get the actual speed of that thing coming across there. That was pretty impressive.
So it looks like inSKY is going to go ahead and land.
They're relatively close to home, right? Yep.
About 50 nautical miles, so not too bad at all. Not sure where 552 is going.
Yeah, seems to be extending over the med.
He's off on a merry journey.
Indeed.
Toast, I think we're seeing a lot of the undefeated teams go down here. Maybe it's just the undefeated teams maybe seeing that they've got a lock on getting in. Maybe they're trying new tactics, taking it easy before the tournament gets in. See Jettisons coming here from, who is that, 800?
I think it's also a testament to just how difficult SATAL is. You know, it's not easy to go through it undefeated because there is, you know, each week, you know, teams have an equal chance to get out there and get a win. So I think
I don't want this in any way, shape, or form to unvalidate what inSKY has done here. I mean, they won. It was an awesome match. They took it to RVE. And it was a significant win. It was done by a definitive margin. It wasn't something that was just, hey, it was a close match. They've got 5 pilots remaining coming and RTBing here. So it was winning in definitive fashion over RVE here in week 26 in 2 rounds. So kudos to inSKY. Obviously, they have to land here, but with 5 pilots remaining, I don't really see it being any type of issue. We've got him over Mach 1, over the sound barrier. 1821 is already almost home to Katasi. He's 25 nautical miles to the west, coming in on runway 008. So
RVE now, they will have 1 shot back, I believe, at getting that second place. Well, actually, they may even be able to get...
Well, it's against SF.
So correct, which is, there
is a possibility that if they beat SF, that's the deciding round for this bracket. Is if SF or RVE wins, they come in first.
So last week of the year, folks, we're talking September 15th. Be here. That is going to be an interesting matchup right there. A lot's going to be on the line, ending the season up. So I can only imagine that one is going to be one not to miss.
Half-Inch Soul, they were the last technically undefeated team with no draws. So now the last team without a loss is SF, but they have a draw. So we see 1821s coming through 13,000. Looks like 552 ended his magical journey and is now RTB back to Kataisi. Well, Toast, that'll be a great birthday present. It's your birthday.
Indeed. I know. I think the last couple weeks here, it's really going to be interesting to watch the way this all shapes up and how the seating gets swapped around and guys trade paint here coming into the stretch.
Watch these guys RTB. Nope, that is not what I meant to hit. Get that.
And then, I mean, you have to think, you know, with what we're seeing here, things are going to get amped up to a whole nother level once the playoff starts, and you know, that level of entertainment is just going to get higher at that point. So,
yeah, the tournament, guys, is I think that's where everything is going to culminate, and just we're going to see 2 matches a day. So we've got a little bit longer action, a little more is on the line, single elimination. We'll have to see how. I'm excited for that. I mean, I always get excited for SATAC, but the excitement that I think SATAL has been building up until the end of the year tournament, just kind of, it's going to be a nice culmination of everything. Let's see, where is everybody? It's still a decent way out. That is not what I meant to do. Terrible Glider asks if the weather during the tournament is going to be random. Yes, everything is random. You don't know what's going to happen. Your opponent is flying against the same stuff you are, so I don't really see it as a disadvantage going forward. You just got to be able to deal with whatever comes at you. Toast, I don't think there's going to be any interviews today. We're going to go over round 2 in TAC View, but I couldn't get RVE to do an interview. So we'll just go and move forward. So one more guy. Who is this coming in? Kevin Rydell, thanks for the follow. It's 1821 coming in here. You can see going in here how significant this wind is as these guys come into the runway. He's using his rudders to try and stay on course. Can't hear him because of the rain.
Certainly challenging when you get a nice crosswind.
But he puts it down, no problem, solidifying the second victory there. For the second round victory there for inSKY. So as we watch these guys come in for landing, Joel, I'm going to jump and grab the TAC view.
Awesome.
I guess I can't. The round's got to end. So let's go ahead and leave the server. Go ahead. I'm going to shut down the server here, grab the TAC view, and we're back to the talk show, by the way. And we will get this show debrief on the road here. So grab this. What do you think of that round, Joel? How do you think that varied from the first one?
I think we came out and we saw some different tactics out the start as we expected to see with the addition of the Player 2 or the Fighter 2 RVE. I think, you know, once again, the containment factor I saw by inSKY, it felt like, to me at least, that inSKY always seemed to have a little bit of an advantage when it came to containment and at least keeping RVE where they wanted them. At least it felt like from where I was sitting.
What do you think inSKY did well?
Well, I think inSKY was able to, like I said, keep RVE in a position for the most part of where they wanted to, and they were able to kind of come back out and seemingly do their thing of cycling in and keeping that front line fighting and that back line covering the egress as they swapped out. I don't know if they got into as good of a position as they probably would have liked for that, but it seemed like they did that well enough to get the victory in that second round, at least for the most part.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Trying to get... There we go. Okay, I've got it now. Let's minimize that. Okay. So, and guys, I'm going to shut down the extra stream here. Okay. I'm not going to send you this TAC V if that's... no, I probably should. Is there anything you think either team could have done better, chat? Weigh in here and let me know what you think.
Yeah, did you guys see anything noteworthy that maybe we haven't brought up here or discussed yet? Something maybe stood out to one of you guys at home? Yeah, I'm really excited to look at that exchange between Microvax and I'm not sure who else from inSKY, but that's going to be one to look at right there.
I guess, guys, we're going to get an interview from inSKY 1821. Oh, never mind. He says he can't. So never mind. We're just going to debrief. And we'll go through this. We'll debrief. And then I'll see you guys next week. So let's watch this go through. We can see that they didn't get the separation that they did in the first round. So I would have liked to see RVE, and I think they tried with Microvax and Daxter here to get inSKY to separate, but inSKY didn't make that same mistake this time that they did the first round. So both teams very defensive going in. Still pretty defensive. I think the first kill came up here to the north. Right there. Okay, so this is when J-Man flew by inSKY 552, and this spelled his demise. And we can see that there's a decent altitude separation here, 2,000 feet. So it's not too bad, or 2,000 meters. So not awful, but I'm going to put this back on. I'm going to assume that RVE didn't have a GCI, but J-Man just flew right by him and didn't see him. Oh, I got to switch views here. My bad. We'll jump here. So you guys haven't missed anything. This is the first engagement. Everything's really not happening. Nothing's going on. Right here's the first exchange and first death is with J-Man and 552. So J-Man just flies right by 552 right here. Doesn't see him. Altitude separation of about 2,000 meters. Yours gets really lucky in defending. Oh, no, he doesn't. So he starts to defend the first 120. We can see the flares. Defends way too late against the second one. And this engagement here is... How far are they separated? Like 6 kilometers. Is that right? Yeah, about 6 kilometers. So they're really close. Really close. And he just defends too late. I don't know that he got sorted late or didn't assume that there was going to be a 120B. But this has been a common theme in this match where guys are reacting only when the missile goes pitbull. And if you're already inside 6 kilometers when the missile goes pitbull, the missile's still going to be under power by the time it reaches you. And you're not going to be able to do anything about it unless you get it into a really slow, perfect notch to be able to get away from it. So we can see that yours gets splashed here because he defends too late. Missile still has a shit ton of energy. J-Man doesn't see 552 there, and that's the reason yours dies. And the same thing happens with J-Man as it happened with yours. He just gets in too late. We're inside 6 kilometers there. ER is going to have a shit ton of energy by the time it reaches you, and no matter what you do, you're just going to die. And unfortunately, in that particular situation, 800's able to get into a notch fast enough and drop enough chaff that 120 just doesn't hit him. So moving on, that's 2 dispatch for RVE. Microvax is still up here. I think the next engagement is Microvax. This is when he recommits. No, this isn't the recommitment that I was thinking of. So we can see Seal just getting away from an ER. This is it right here. So Microvax going in here has a lot of energy. He's Mach 2. He's turning in on 552. I think he gets him in radar and alerts 552 that, hey, there's something coming. I need to turn in and engage it. And when he does, he has enough time that, oh, I didn't realize that 5.52 was this close. They're this slow. So this being this slow puts Microvax at a significant disadvantage because it's easier to notch when you're this slow. So a 5.52 is Mach 0.5, which makes it really hard to track for the radar-guided missiles. So we can see the Matra coming off the rail. They're separated by about 7 clicks, 35,000 feet, so not too far. And that Matra has tons of energy by the time it gets there. But because he's so slow, it's really easy for him to get into a notch and deploy chaff, and that missile's not going to do anything or make a factor. Oh, I don't think Microvax got hit. I think he broke his wings or hit the water. I don't think he got hit by a missile. Or I don't see him getting hit by a missile.
Certainly strange, isn't it?
Oh, I guess we might have an interview with 1821. We'll have to see. But I don't see the missile hitting him in TAC view. That's bizarre. I just see him breaking up.
I was gonna bring it up because as you were looking at that, I was looking at it, and it's like he just disappears.
Yeah, I think he breaks his wings.
That baguette just couldn't handle the sheer wind velocity.
That's what it seems like.
Fractured.
So Microvax goes down, and now it's a 5v2. And we just see right here, I think, is when Seal goes down to that 120B. And again, guys, it's just getting in too close and defending only when you get the pit bull warnings. And you can't be doing that. You're going to eat it. You got to anticipate that there's a missile coming for you. So we see Seal going down. Now it's a 5v2. We do see 1155 get hit here. I think it's by an AIM-9 from Snowman, but he's able to stay up. He doesn't go down, and he's able to track down Snowman. That's unfortunate.
One thing I'm
here,
noticing as
go ahead.
As you're going through it is just as we were talking about before, inSKY's ability to keep this wall almost and just keep filling it with people as they're, there's always fighters coming in hot as there's fighters leaving cold. And that, I think, their ability to do that well here in this situation really gave them the advantage in the second round. At least you can really see it from the TAC view as you're kind of scrolling through.
Yeah. I'd agree there. And so let's back up here on the TAC view a little bit. This is what spelled Daxter's demise. I think he assumes that he has enough time to recommit in here on 5.52. But when he recommits, I just don't think he's able. Maybe he's trying to get into a notch. But when he defends like that, 5.52 is able to close the distance close enough that it's just an AIM-9 that takes him to school, and Daxter pays for it with his life. So at the same time, Snowman gets taken down. It's really unfortunate because 1155 did get hit by an AIM-9. It's able to stay up, but he's able to close the gap fast enough with Snowman. Snowman just eats that 120 and gets taken down. That's all she wrote. So that's the recap for round 2. I think we're going to have an interview probably with just how the rounds go with 1821 from inSKY. So stick around for that. Let's give them a couple minutes, if that. See if they're ready. I'll ask. But chat, what'd you guys think?
There's a lot of talk going on right now about ripping off the wings at certain negative Gs and whatnot. I seen a lot of that. I think we just saw Comey referencing how you can do that with the F5.
Yep.
If you get into too much force on those wings.
Yep. I know the we'll jump back to the talk show here. I know the C-27 is definitely the easiest to rip the wings off, especially under positive G. But I know, and I had heard that the Mirage can do it. I just never seen it done before in a match. I know the F5 can do it. I don't think the F-15 can do it. And I don't know that the Hornet can do it. We'll have to see. But
We'll also have to get maybe one of us can get a chance to talk with Microvax this week and next week, kind of give a little info on what he saw from his eyes through that moment.
I think it was just him yanking on the stick because he was trying to defend against that 120 that came off the rail, and he pulled a little bit hard, but he was moving so fast that I don't think it would have taken a whole lot for him to defend against it. The missile couldn't keep up with his kinetic energy. When he would make a slight offset, it just couldn't turn hard enough to be able to do anything.
Indeed. Seemed like it.
Well, Micro, I didn't see what you got hit by, good sir. Oh, maybe it's just server-side tac view? Microvac says he got hit.
Gotcha.
Maybe an AIM-9 that he didn't see coming, or it was desync with the 120B. Not entirely sure. It's just unlucky.
Oh, certainly entertaining, that's for sure.
And guys, we're just waiting for 1821. I think he's going to come in and talk about a bit about the match. I think. So he says he can give an interview. We're just...
User was moved to your channel.
Okay. 1821, how are you doing?
Hello.
User joined your channel.
How are you doing today?
It's great. It's a very good game.
Yeah,
we got good luck because the first turn, they just have
User left your
5 fighters,
channel.
I guess.
Yep.
Yep, and...
Take us through a little bit of how the whole thing played out. Take us through your preparation, what you guys were looking at doing coming into the match, and how you guys executed that, or did it, during rounds 1 and 2. So if you just want to give me a play-by-play of how things shaped out or shook out, that'd be fantastic. I think the viewers would be really intrigued to hear how you guys did, or how you guys prepared for the match, and how you guys executed everything.
Actually, we train for this game almost 10 years. Actually, we start as the local. It's almost 15 years, I guess. We got the team, but the member is changing, and for the training, for the special training for this game, is start at the half years ago, and at the beginning we do not rare because we tend to fly for free, so it's not like a team. It's like a single fly fighter. And after training, we do better and better.
So did you guys do anything to prepare for the RVE match?
Yes, we checked the tech rule for last 2 games for the RVE, and yes, we got this position. We got the RVE position for fighting for every game. And we analyze and redesign our plan. But actually, the plan is unlikely change. So we just use the old plan, and we hope it's working. So, and in fact, it's working.
So a couple of the guys in the chat want to know your guys' formation. It looked like it was a 3-ship wall followed by another 3-ship wall, and we've seen you guys do that in the past. Have you guys found... Is there a reason why you guys come in that particular formation? Do you guys find it effective as opposed to other things? Take us through your guys' thought process and why you guys ingress using that particular style of
because we're training with the other team from China. By the way, I'm Chinese. The other team, China, is CNF, I guess, the name. Yes, we're training with the other Chinese team almost every day. And we found if you save the fuel and missile, is pretty working in this game, because if you fight so close or fight too far away from your airport, is lost your fuel and missile. So we use it's not special plan. we got 3 airplane at first, and the other 3 behind them, and we sim our fuel and missile, and in the final we will push in and kill them.
So your guys' whole idea is just to make the fight as long as possible and try and run
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
fuel and weapons. I see. Because you guys,
Yeah, exactly.
you guys do fight very similar to how Chinese festival fights. So
we learn each other.
Yeah, you guys. It's evident that you guys train together, but it seems to be working. I mean, Chinese festival, that tactic worked against 51st last week, and the same type of formation and tactics seem to work very well against RVE. So when do you guys, and I know you do the ATC stuff with a lot of ATC, is there a specific time that you guys all of a sudden just decide now's the time we need to press them, let's take it to him now instead of standing off like you do for the majority of the match?
Yep. Let me see how to say that. But actually, I'm not ATC of the inSKY game. I just I'm the fighter.
I see. Yeah, you're
sticks
in the
off from
match.
yeah, exactly. But for this special plane, actually, they have some issue. I'll give you an example. If you fly too high, such as more than 40 inch, or you fly too low, I mean on the cloud, and we use the same plane, is not working. We tried that before with the CNF, it's not working. So sometimes we will lose the fighter. It's very dangerous, such as this game. In today, the first game, the M2000 is played so well. They fly very high, is more than 40 inch, and we cannot find the M2000. Yep, but the ATC is working. The ATC is working. The ATC is very useful, very helpful in this game. So the ATC will connect with our members and tell the fighter where you go and where the army go, and what do you do in next step. So actually, the ATC help us very much.
So you guys are very reliant on the light ATC or the guy running ATCs for organization and knowing where everybody is.
Exactly.
Not saying that you're reliant skill-wise, just to get a bigger picture of what's going on outside of what you can see.
How to say that? I think the fly is a kind of a gift. Someone will born from fly, and I'm not that guy, but the 115, and the 925, the Top Gun of the inSKY. That guy is born from fly. He has a big picture. Whatever they are, whatever they doing, they got the big picture. They know where is the army, they know where is the team member, and they can turn the right place, turn the right time. So they got the Top Gun is 18 or 18 kill, I guess.
Something like that. Yeah, 925's leading the scoreboard by quite a bit. He's
so good.
He's pretty good. So, well, I want to thank you for taking your time to come out here and talk to us. I know the viewers really appreciate hearing from pilots' feedback after the matches and learning a little bit about the squadrons and stuff. So, thank you again for taking your time.
Thank you, very appreciate. Thank you for the game. Thank you.
Do you guys have any more matches until the end of the year tournament?
I'm not pretty sure.
Let me check real quick.
I think they're done for the year.
Yeah, I think you guys are done until October when we do the seeding. So I guess you guys just get to kick back and relax and
User
see
joined your channel.
how everything
that's great.
shakes out. So, well, thank you again, man. I'll leave it here, but I want to thank you again and congratulations for the win today.
Okay, thank you. Very appreciate.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Have a good one.
Bye.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. It was another great week of SATAL. thank you so
User
much
left
for
your channel.
1821 to come and hang out with us at the end and give us a idea of what it's like to fly with inSKY and what
User
it was like
disconnected from your channel.
on their side of the engagement. So next week's fight is between 104th and Lock on Greece, and this is a very important match for 104th. If they don't win this, they're in trouble. Lock on Greece is still looking for their first win, but I think they're really hungry, and they could be surprising against 104th.
Well, something to be said when you get the opportunity to play the upset maker. There's something about, that can motivate a team even in a bad situation to get up and do something. So we'll see how that factors into next week. I'm excited.
But again, guys, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching. Next week, August 25th, 1300 Zulu, 104th versus Lock on Greece. Until then, I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good one.